humans here to register on the spot. So he is the go-to guy later on, and a couple of us will be guiding you through the registration process on the spot as well. Then we'll be saving some time for Q&A. Then after that, you guys can have your food. I love the food here. I really love the food here. Oh, by the way, if you haven't joined our FB Facebook community, you can scan the QR code here. Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah. So to start off, yeah, whatever we are sharing with you here is actually confidential. Yeah. Okay, so just a quick introduction about our team. So I'm Serene, I'm from the marketing team. I'm also the admin for the Philippines community Facebook page. So usually you can see my profile, yeah, and sharing all the updates and announcement of the upcoming events. And we have Yichen here. She's the senior account manager for the new seller recruitment. So for her role, right, she's the one that really helps sellers to onboard on Amazon. And we have Ivan, also from the new seller recruitment team over here. So Ivan is the registration guru. So if you need any help in terms of registering for your Amazon account, or even if you have questions on your FBA, like fulfillment by Amazon, he's a guy to go to. And lastly, we have Tristan over there. So he's our business development guy. So what he does is he's the one that brings in all the different service providers here to help you with the journey on Amazon. Okay, we are all based in Singapore, but we travel to Philippines pretty often to conduct workshops like this. Yeah, so just to share a little bit background, Singapore is more of like a HQ for us for global selling. We are supporting Singapore sellers, Malaysian sellers, Philippine sellers, Indonesian sellers, Cambodian sellers, and even from Thailand, yeah, in Singapore. Okay, so to share with you also, there's two different Facebook group. The one that you see, Amazon Global Selling Southeast Asia, that's the main official Facebook group where it's used to serve for all Southeast Asia sellers. And the other one is the Philippines community that I mentioned earlier. That one is more of an informal, casual group that we exchange information. Like any sellers can post any question, or you can actually reach out to me via the Philippines community. Whereas the Southeast Asia page, the official page, right, that isn't like a two-way communication. Yeah, so if you want to post question to any Philippine sellers, go to the Philippines community page. Okay. Okay, so with that, I will pass the mic over to Yichen to start the presentation.
Yeah, hi again. Anyways, let me plug this out. I'll just use my laptop to do the demo and show the guides that we have. Okay, so this is a guide. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this before or if you have scanned this guide. But later on, maybe we'll share the QR code so you can have access to this. So the reason why we came out with this guidebook is because a lot of sellers tell us, like, hey, selling on Amazon, right? Where do I start? Like, what's the step-by-step? What's the checklist? What do I start with first? What's next, right? So we come up with like a roadmap depending on the type of seller you are, whether or not you have an existing brand or product, or whether you are a new seller with no product but you just want to start selling something in order to just see how it goes with cross-border e-commerce, right? So, for instance, if I have an existing product, this is like an example of the roadmap that you need to go through. So, for each of the roadmaps, right, we have come up with detailed guides in terms of what are the costing, some of the relevant tutorials at every step, and we'll have like week 1, week 2, week 3, and how long it takes. So this will serve as a guideline in terms of how long it will take to get started on Amazon. So typically for a seller, if I want to talk about the benchmark, the average time for an existing brand to get started on Amazon, including sending in your inventory to the fulfillment by Amazon warehouse, it may take up to 3 months. Because sea shipment is at about 1 to 1.5 months already. So that is the rough timeline you are looking at. So since I'm here, I also want to emphasize that we won't be able to catch Prime Day this year, because it's likely going to be in July and you won't be able to launch in time, but we have our Q4 events, which is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and also Prime Early Access Sale, which are our Tier 1 events coming up between October to November this year. So if you want to get started and to take advantage of the peak season, you have time, but you need to get started these 2 months, okay? Yeah. So just to quickly run through the roadmap, right? I think most of you already understand the selling fees already. So what I'll be covering more in depth today is on researching what to sell. So later on, I'll show a demo of the Opportunity Explorer. Later on, I will share some use cases which you can take photo and save so that you can try it out at home once you have a seller account as well. Then after that, yes, I will talk about the revenue calculator, which is step 2.2, because you want to know whether it makes sense for you to go into the US, whether you are earning a profit, right? If not, it doesn't make sense to start. After that, if you already have like a US trademark, you can also enroll your trademark into brand registry so that brand owners will be able to get access to exclusive brand building tools. So things like A+ content, building a brand store, and on top of that, since you have a US trademark, you are eligible for protection program. So it helps you to protect your brand from counterfeits and etc. Right? We have tools like report a violation, project zero, transparency, which are more in depth. But these are the tools that we have for Amazon to protect brand owners, for you to protect your sales. So that if let's say there's counterfeiters, Amazon will help you enforce and take them down. Right? Yeah, then after that, it will be the listing stage, FBA stage, etc., which are more executional, so I won't cover that this time around. So maybe in a few months' time, maybe when you guys have your account already, then I will start talking about that so that we can have some hands-on workshop then. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me just move on to the quick demo on Opportunity Explorer. Okay, so Opportunity Explorer, I'm not sure you guys, have you all heard of like Helium 10 or like Jungle Scout? So this is like Amazon's attempt of giving you Amazon data to help you make your decision on whether you should come onto Amazon based on the existing sales data that you are seeing. And you'll be able to understand whether your niche or like the product will sell. Like what is the current search volume and demand, etc. Right? So this is the landing page that you'll see when you log into a Seller Central account. So again, you'll need to register an account before you can access this, which is why oftentimes you will try to push seller, just register first, then you play around with the tools. Once you're ready, then you start listing. So talking about that, by the way, to register for a professional selling account, you just need to pay $39.99 USD for the first month, and you'll only be subsequently charged when you create your first listing. So you will just be charged like the first month, and subsequent months, if let's say you are not ready yet, you just want to play around with the tools, you won't be charged yet. Okay, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me later on to clarify as well. Okay, so the reason why you're seeing this Van Cleef bracelet page over here is because this account that I'm looking at is selling bracelets. So the landing page will tell you what are the similar products that are already selling well. For instance, this replica of like a Van Cleef bracelet, they'll tell you what's the product count, what's the average price. So at one glance, you'll be able to know potentially what else or what are the designs you can potentially go into, right? So I'm just talking about the landing page. So at the bottom, there's also some best practices like tutorials and how it works for you to better understand how to navigate around Opportunity Explorer, since it's a very new tool to many of the sellers, right? Okay, yeah, there's like increasing searches and decreasing searches for you to understand. But what's more interesting, let me talk about the search bar as well as like the menu bar over here. So let's say if you have like a category that you want to sell in, but you don't want to search by a niche, you can do a top-down search. For instance, like you can go to baby products, you can go to baby care, hair care, accessories. It's really like quite in-depth in order to see like the entire category, for instance. And it will show you what are like the top products in this particular category, subcategory. You can filter by search volume, search volume growth, etc., etc., etc. So if you don't understand what it means, you can actually hover around the definition in order to understand what it means. You can reset to default also. It will tell you what's your price range also. So for instance, you don't know like how much you should sell it at. So this can be like your first gauge in order to understand roughly similar products in this category, how much they are selling at. Then after that, you can use the FBA revenue calculator, put in your product price, then you see whether you make a profit or not, right? Okay, so over here again, what I say, these are niche, right? So niche means like multiple different search terms that are relevant to this particular niche are bucketed together again. So these are more generic like data that are consolidated, right? So I'll talk about niche first before I talk about the product level data. So for instance, let me click into this. Yeah. Okay. So after I click into this particular niche, it will show you like what are the kind of like top products that are already selling, what is their launch date, so you know like the competitors. Are they already like a very mature player? Or are there new players that launch in 2021 but are still able to gain market share? So it will kind of like tell you whether there's a potential for you to come in and even break through, right? And there are many other ratings, etc. I will not talk about this part. Okay, yeah, there are multiple different tabs, like for instance, search terms. So search terms is very important because Amazon have this thing in the listing where you are able to put in hidden search terms. So it helps you boost up your search ranking. So it's very important that all these top search terms are in your listing as well. So quite interesting. These are also what the customers are searching on, which is why these are top search terms. Yeah, very important. Okay, there are also other insights, trends, and you can add additional matrix in order to discover more data. But what most important, which I roughly highlighted yesterday, is this customer review insights that I really like. So over here, it will show you like the breakdown of the mentions of positive review and also negative review. So for this product, what is this product? Flower headband for baby girls. You see those top positive reviews are saying like, it's a correct fit. Quality overall is great. Color is lovely. So these are the things that your product need to have if you want to sell this product. Versus, let's say, is it my laptop? No, hold on. I'm so sorry. Okay, continuing on the negative review. So this is super important, right? Let's say this product is already very niche. You see like the product already launched like way back in 2017, like the popular product. So how are you going to break through, right? So look at the negative review over here. So some people say, oh, it's not pink like the picture. So maybe like the pictures that you need to upload, you better take a better one. And make sure that it looks like the real thing. Then durability also, so quality. So it's like a bit mixed review. So these are the things that you really have to take note of. And the percentage mentioned over here is kind of like the percentage of importance, right? Because it's the number of people that actually commented about this particular issue in under the reviews. Okay, so over here, it has like the impact on the star ratings also. Okay, so this is the niche page. So something interesting that just launched this month actually is this thing called the ASIN Explorer. So nowadays, you can don't just search via a niche. If you see like a competitor selling like a product that's really similar to yours, you want to find out like what's the rating and other matrices. So all you need to do is, there's usually when you click into a product, there's this thing called the ASIN. Okay, what it means by ASIN is Amazon Standard Identification Number. Okay, that's called ASIN. So over here, you can copy and paste this number. I think I pasted here already. Yeah. So then you search, then you'll be able to see the results. So this is the ASIN view. So you'll be able to see what is the launch date, what's the count, what's the offer price, what's the rating, etc. Let me just click into it. So on top of that, they'll show you similar products that are also selling that you'll be able to refer to it. So super interesting and like super invasive. Okay, over here. Yeah. Let me just quickly talk through this. Some of the matrices that you see here have already been showed earlier on. Yeah, you'll be able to see the gathered reviews insights also. Okay. Okay, so one good thing is if you don't understand like a couple of matrix or you want to see how you want to navigate around this Opportunity Explorer, we actually have the glossary that tells you what's the definition of each of the different matrix. There's the full list over here, which I will not talk about it, and you will be able to click through it under the Learn More. Okay, so this is the Opportunity Explorer. Let me just quickly show you the revenue calculator. You'll be able to find it under our sell.amazon.com page, which is our website under pricing and Amazon fee calculator. And you can click try the revenue calculator. You are able to access this page without having an account. Just have to continue as guest. Okay, so there's two ways typically I'll advise seller to try this out. So firstly, if there's no similar products that are currently selling, you can define your product. So simply put in your package dimension, unit weight, what's the category, item price, and what's the estimated shipping charge, for instance, like from Philippines to the US. Then we'll be able to estimate and show you a rough P&L. But for the purpose of this demo, let me just search for a product that's already in the Amazon catalog. So assuming that there's a very similar product, most of the time you'll be able to find something similar, so don't worry. So find the similar product, get the AC number of the product title, key in over here, you'll be able to find out how much it exactly costs in terms of the breakdown expenditures. You'll be able to expand to see what's the referral fee, and by the way, this closing fee is on the assumption that you're on the individual selling plan, which means it's 99 cents per unit sold. So if you're on the professional selling plan, you pay a $39.99 fixed fee every month. So you can omit this 99 cents. Okay. So over here, it will show like the fulfillment cost. So what it means by fulfillment fees, this is the fees that is charged for every unit fulfilled by Amazon. So we help you to pick, pack, and ship and do the last mile delivery. It includes like customer service. It also includes returns and exchanges. Yeah, when we help you to do all the processing, right? So over here is the storage cost. That means how much it costs to store one unit per month in our warehouse. Okay, so you'll be able to like put in like different number and to just play around it depending on how much inventory you want to send in, how many do you think will sell per month in order to gauge what's the average pricing. Then other costs that you can put in will be like your cost of goods sold, how much is your product pricing, and other miscellaneous costs that you want to buffer in, for instance like marketing costs or advertising costs. Then it will show you the net margin. So this is the FBA breakdown. We also have your fulfillment, which is assuming that you're fulfilling it by yourself. So you will need to understand what is the fulfillment cost per unit when it ships from Philippines all the way to US or from like China to the US. Then you can put in the unit cost over there. Then you'll be able to compare the net margin. Okay, this one looks higher is because there's no shipping cost at all. So yeah, you'll be able to see the clear comparison. Then assuming like you want to have like other types of fulfillment, or if let's say you're eligible for other FBA programs, you'll be able to click different options in order to compare the different P&Ls. Okay? So far, any questions? Quick questions? Okay, maybe we'll save it for later on. I don't think we have time. Okay, Serene, can I have your laptop back also? Let me just share some use cases which is not in our tutorial on how to best use Opportunity Explorer. So y'all can take like some pictures of it. Okay. Okay, so here are the top 5 use cases. So generally, these are the ones that sellers typically use in terms of like how you filter in order to find like your the product selections. Yeah, this is the summary. Okay, so this is use case 1. If you want to find like a product niche with high search volume and low competition that are related to a category that you want to sell. Okay, you can like take a picture here. Yeah. So usually these are, I guess, more of the unmet demands or up and coming new selection, trendy items that other sellers are not selling yet. If you want to come into Amazon.com selling something new, you can research by that. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. The next one would be high search volume with comparable average selling price. So assuming that you want to earn like a specific profit margin, maybe your product price need to be around $20 to $30, right? Because if it's $10, there's not a lot of like margin for you to work around with. So you'll be able to search based on like the average selling price in order to find the selection also. So like I said, I think 20 to 30 is like a good gauge. Unless you are selling by volume, then maybe like $10 plus or like around $10 it works. Okay, so you can like take a picture. So the next one is annualized opportunity niche. So it's like, okay, at the end of the year, I want to earn $100,000. So you need to see, you want to find which selection or which category can help you get there. So work backwards based on like the demand as well as the selling price in order to get there. Okay, leave it here a few seconds. Okay, the fourth one would be trending search recommendation. So depending on whether like you're a reseller or whether you're a brand owner, if you're a reseller, you'll be able to find out what are the top brands that are currently selling. For brand owners, it's more of like whether you want to expand into new product lines, what are the up and coming like new selections that you can bring in. Okay, just want to make sure everybody has taken that photo. Okay, then the last one is top search term recommendations. So yeah, this one is top search term. Okay, they are very important for you guys to take photo of this. If you never take in time, then maybe we'll share in the community page, because this is not in our tutorial. We have actually gathered this so that best practices for you all to just play around with it. Okay? Yeah, so I just want to share this guide again. Most of the tutorials, most of the category guides are already in here. So if you haven't bookmarked this page, you can scan it here as well. Yeah. Okay, I think we are good. If you guys have any questions, feel free to like reach out to me or ask me questions later on. I think we have a Q&A also. Yeah, if not, I think we'll move on to Payoneer. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Okay, so good late afternoon, everyone. My name is Monique. I'm handling the Philippines and Southeast Asia for Payoneer. So these are the markets that are under our wing, and I am based here in Manila together with my colleague Robert in the back. So we're here to discuss about what we can offer to Amazon sellers. So first and foremost, hello also to other people that we know already here. First and foremost, who is Payoneer? So we are a cross-border payments platform for businesses. That is us in a nutshell. If you have a business where you have funds from outside that need to be repatriated to the Philippines, this is where we can come in. We're exclusively for B2B, so we are not a peer-to-peer or a remittance service. So we were founded in 16 years ago, and as early as 2015, we have been integrated with Amazon Payouts. We went public with the Nasdaq in 2021, and also in the same year, we were recognized by Amazon as a payment service provider, an official payment service provider. So you might ask, how does this work, and how will this help you as a Filipino seller? And also internationally, we serve 5 million clients worldwide in over 200 countries and territories. One of the 21 locations is Manila, which is the Southeast Asian hub. And so, aside from Amazon and e-commerce, we are also integrated with other partners, be it in the freelancing space, Upwork, Fiverr, OnlineJobs.ph, with Photostock communities, Getty Images, Adobe, and for e-commerce, of course, Amazon. And I just wanted to show a couple of customers that use us worldwide. In the Philippines, on the right side is Miss Lichelle Aquino. She's one of the top sellers in Amazon here. She is a mom that manages her business remotely. She is selling a very niche product in the US, and she has been a Payoneer user for more than 5 years. Other international brands that we support with their Amazon payouts are, I can highlight the biggest ones are the Korean cosmetic brands under Amore Pacific, Nature Republic, Skin Food. Within the region, so we have a couple of Amazon sellers. If you saw in the testimonial videos, some of them are already our clients. In Thailand, this company called Rebirth Rice from Chiang Mai is using us to sell their agricultural goods to the United States. In Malaysia, if you're familiar with a very Malaysian brand called Royal Selangor, they are manufacturers of sculptures and iron and pewter furniture. So they also use us to repatriate funds to Malaysia. In Thailand, again, if you're familiar with the Uniqlo of Thailand, GQ, they also use us, and under them is the School Mass Pack, which is like a Crayola branded clothing line in Thailand. So these are all some of the brands that trust Payoneer. Locally, aside from Lish, we also have other brands in the cosmetic space and also in the clothing space, such as Sunny's and Rafco Prints and Prints, but with other marketplaces as well. So, how can Payoneer help you, and what is the platform? I will not bombard you with so many information, but basically, what can you do with funds getting paid within the Payoneer account, and then paying out or withdrawing? So, I have a use case for you as an Amazon seller. It doesn't. Okay. So, as an Amazon seller with your store, how can Payoneer help you? First and foremost is we will provide you with a global receiving account. It is a bank account opened in the United States by Payoneer on your behalf by Payoneer. So an example here is First Century Bank. We also have other bank accounts in the United States, such as Citibank and Community Federal Savings Bank, Bank of America. So this is the first product that you will use first and foremost as an Amazon seller. Basically, when your funds you sell in US dollars, you also receive in US dollars, and we are here to make you receive US dollars domestically because you will be receiving to your First Century Bank account or your Citibank bank account from the United States. So from this account, now it enters your Payoneer account,
Here, you can do many things. So aside from USD, we can also issue you, upon your request, Euro receiving accounts, GBP receiving accounts, AUD, CAD, AED. Why do we have these services? Because we're also aligned with Amazon's expansion. We also have SGD. So if you plan to sell in Amazon Europe, in Amazon Australia, Amazon Singapore, you can also get these local currencies from their local countries, and we provide that within the platform. And if you are an Amazon seller selling in multiple storefronts, so you receive in US dollars, you receive in euro, and you need to exchange currencies within the platform, you can do that as well with our FX management service. So you don't need to send the money out, go to a money changer or a bank. You can do it within the platform. Another useful thing that from the get-go we can offer is actually generate reports or statements. When you sign up to Amazon, you would need a statement of your bank account to be saved within Amazon, and Payoneer can provide this on the get-go. Now, so from your Payoneer account, how do you send your money back to the Philippines? So we have many options. The first and foremost is withdrawal to your Philippine bank account in whatever currency. If you have a bank account in USD, this works. If you have a bank account in PHP, this is our main service. And it's a local settlement and it's same day. A faster way is our integration with GCash. From Payoneer, you can send the funds to GCash in real time. Another option for money out is we have a Payoneer branded MasterCard, a MasterCard debit card, which you can use for many ways. You can use it for ATM, you can use it for online transactions, or for your personal needs shopping around. And another way of money out is Payoneer to Payoneer. So I'm sending, this is the peer-to-peer side of it, where I can send USD funds to another Payoneer user. This is free of charge and it's also real time. And last but not the least, and I think also a very relevant feature for Amazon sellers, is from your dollar funds, you would need to pay suppliers, be they in China, in the Philippines, in Southeast Asia. You can also save their bank account details so that you are sending the payments directly to them. So this was the currencies that we can offer that I mentioned. So if you have a store in Amazon Mexico, in Amazon Japan, then we can provide you with bank account details opened in their home countries. So that is why it is cost effective, because Amazon is paying you out technically domestically. Okay? So, and this is just another version of the money in, money out. You can receive funds instantly with your different bank account details. You can pay your suppliers. If your suppliers in China have Payoneer accounts, then you just send them the funds for free, Payoneer to Payoneer. Another feature that is useful for Amazon sellers in Europe is PayVat. So in Europe, there are, if you go to, if you sell in Amazon, then you would be in multiple storefronts, UK, France, Germany, etc. And they each have their VAT payments mandate, and we already have this in place easily. So you don't need to hire an accountant in each country and then pay there. You can just do it directly from Payoneer. And this is the card that I mentioned. For Filipino Amazon sellers, they use it mostly to pay suppliers, or also pay for advertising. So, yes. And the money out that I mentioned, so withdrawal to any bank account in the Philippines and actually worldwide, integration with GCash, and yes, we also offer competitive rates for sending the funds back to the Philippines. And just quickly, once you are already scaling in your Amazon store, we have more advanced tools for Amazon sellers. One of them is Amazon Store Manager. If you have
several stores in Amazon. For example, you have different categories, you open different stores. You can consolidate the viewing in your Payoneer account. Another one is we have this in other countries and we're hoping that we can extend it also to the Philippines. We have a capital advance feature for Amazon sellers where based on your 6 months of history with Payoneer, Payoneer can offer you like a capital advance. So we have a couple of sellers here in the Philippines. So right now we only accommodate those with entities in the United States, Europe, and in Hong Kong. Some of them have Hong Kong entities and they've been doing the capital advance when they want to scale or buy more inventory or invest more in advertising. And yes, and also we are again more connected with Amazon with regards to Amazon advertising. So aside from Amazon, we're also here to support the e-commerce seller as a whole. We have other services like receiving for your B2B, like trading and exporting. We have ways for you to get paid via credit card, e-checks from the US, and bank transfers. And also, we just launched a product last year called Payoneer Checkout, which is integrated into Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento. Yeah, so that's it. I didn't want to put so many details, but that is Payoneer in a nutshell. We can help you receive funds in USD and then withdraw funds mostly in Philippines, PHP. So thank you, and Ryan and I will be in that corner if you have questions. Thank you so much, Celine.
Okay, the next presenter will be from from My Export team, Ship team. So they will be going through with you the logistic. They are a logistics service provider. Yeah, and they will be going through with you the basics of shipping. Yeah.
So, good evening, everybody. So, thank you for joining us today for this seminar. So, one of the difficulties that many people face is how to send their item to an Amazon warehouse. So, ShipIt is our logistics service. You can look at our website, shipit.ph, and today I'll be discussing the basics of shipping. So, for you to understand how to send your items to an Amazon warehouse. So if you are shipping abroad, you have, in general, two options. The first one is an air courier service, and the second one is a forwarding service. So if it's an air courier service, these items are what we recommend to be low volume and low value. But for forwarding, these again, it's the opposite. It's high volume and high value items. And if it's a forwarding shipment, it's considered a commercial shipment, and you can send it through many different kinds of volumes, which I will be discussing a bit more later. But generally, these are the two options, air courier and forwarding. Unless you want to bring the items on your own, that's also another option. So, for our services, our first one that I will be talking about is ShipIt Express. So ShipIt Express is our air courier service. Again, when we send these items abroad, these items are declared as personal items or ship, or let's say a sample. So low volume, and low value. We also make sure that we check the item before it's shipped out to the destination country. Sometimes people want to send to, let's say Europe, but Europe has different protocols in terms of acceptance. Just give you a brief background. They're very strict with food stuff. So we'll advise you right away na, sir, ma'am, bawal po yan. We have to follow the restrictions of the destination country. And what happens there is duties and taxes, if there are any, will be paid by the recipient. So, depends on the destination country again on the duties and taxes. But we want to inform you of, let's say, if you can expect duties and taxes, or in a sense, how to avoid it and how to work around it. And lastly, if you're sending, let's say, food items or cosmetic items, generally they would need to have local FDA so that we can manage and avoid homemade products. So a lot of people ask us how express shipments are priced. So there's a term that we call chargeable weight. So sometimes you're sending an item and you'll complain, and we get complaints na, "Sir, 1 kilo lang yan, bakit ang mahal?" Or once it's so expensive, it's only 1 kilogram. So what happens when we send via air courier service, we compare the volumetric weight and the actual weight. So whichever is higher, that's what you will be charged. So just a few examples so that you can better understand this concept. So first example that we have, like for a box number 4 that we have with these dimensions, it comes out at 5 kilograms. So if you want to compute it, it's length times width times height in centimeters divided by 5,000. So if you do that, you'll get 5 kilograms, but the actual weight of your item is 20 kilos. So what will be charged to you now is 20 kilograms. I think this is fairly simple in terms of the actual weight. But the second example that I have, or the easiest example I can use for the second part, is if you're sending a parol. So a parol or any lantern is quite light, but then in terms of its size, it's quite large. So let's say you have a box which is quite large, but the actual weight is 5 kilograms, and the box has a volumetric weight of 25 kilograms. You'll be charged 25 kilos. So some basic do's and don'ts of shipping. Some it's just simple, but what I want to emphasize here is make sure that you use the proper box for shipping. We always emphasize using double-walled boxes so that the boxes aren't damaged in transit. So sometimes some of our clients would buy a balikbayan box in a bookstore, and those boxes are mostly, let's say the walls are thin. If it goes in transit where it gets transferred to many different carriers, many different trucks, a lot of people hold the boxes, it could be prone to damage. So we always recommend using double-walled boxes. So in terms of our rates and sending to Amazon, I'll be showing this a bit more later. We'll have a QR code for specific rates for Amazon, which I'll show here. But basically, here on your left side or in the white background, these are our regular rates for sending abroad. There's a more extensive breakdown with the QR code that I'll be showing later. But over here on the ones with the blue background, these are our special rates for Amazon. So if you notice that you're sending to an Amazon warehouse, then these rates will apply. But if it's just to a personal item, if you want to send it to a loved one, we'll still have to apply our regular rates.
Is that by air?
This is by air. This is our air courier service. So what I just explained, so these rates are only for Amazon shipments, and shipping terms are delivered duties unpaid, which basically means that the recipient will pay for any duties and taxes if there's any. So if you want to scan, I'll just leave this for a few seconds if you want to scan our QR code. But then we also have a table here on the side. We have a QR code there. It's the same registration form. So if you to sort of move a bit faster, we'll just skip this slide first. So we're done with the air courier service that we have. I'll be talking more about the forwarding service that we have. So our first service is what we call shipping fulfillment. So this is shipping from Philippines to our US warehouse. Our US warehouse is located in the California area. So what happens here is for 1 cubic meter, that's 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, we price it at $350. So that's around 19,000 pesos. So what is inclusive here is sending from our warehouse to the warehouse in the United States. That includes the sea freight, that includes all the processing charges, that includes any licensing that is under us.
Question. Do they have to be wrapped? They have to pallet?
I'll explain it for you.
Okay.
So part of that, so what happens here is that it takes quite long for a fulfillment service, because what we will do is we will purchase the container, and we will be getting from many different suppliers, many different shippers who want to load in our container. So it will be delivered to our warehouse. From there, we pack it, again, we palletize it, we wrap it, we secure all the shipment before it's loaded into the container. Once we have a schedule, it takes around 30 to 45 days of sailing. and then it gets stored in our US warehouse. So from our US warehouse, there are different options. First option is you can keep it there, and we can, let's say, fulfill the orders for you. So let's say you send 30 items, and then you inform us, oh, I have an order to this area. Our team in the US will be the one to pick it and then send it to that address. The second option is we can handle the delivery. So if you're going to send it to an Amazon warehouse, from our warehouse we'll handle the delivery to whichever Amazon warehouse you're assigned. And then the third option is if you have your own contacts in the US, or let's say you have a loved one who can pick it up and deliver it somewhere else, you can also pick it up. This is just a simple comparison. I'll just explain it quick. But then if you compare, let's say, sending it via air courier service as compared to sending it via sea and for a fulfillment service. So for 1 cubic meter of boxes that you're sending via air courier, that would cost you around $2,800. That's although that will be direct to whichever destination that you pick. What we can offer is the $350 to our warehouse in the US. So additional fee again would be the delivery to any warehouse in the United States. So we just did a rough estimate. I just did calculation. So from LA all the way to New York, if you're going to deliver around 1 cubic meter and you book it through United States Post or let's say UPS in the United States for domestic shipping, that's an additional 1,000. So you're comparing around 1,350, although it takes longer, of course. You're comparing it to 2,800. You get to save up around half. Again, we recommend fulfillment or let's say forwarding for larger and planned shipments. So for shipment forwarding, these are relatively straightforward shipments. So in terms of shipping let's say shipping via forwarding, you have many options. You have an air freight or via sea freight. So air freight and versus air courier is basically the difference would be the volume. Okay, you can have a less than container load, an LCL shipment, or a full container load, or an FCL shipment. And part of our service that you can also offer is, let's say, some of your items need to have different sticker labels, need to be repacked. We have a warehouse here that can handle that for you. So you just deliver the items to the warehouse, give us the supplies. We have the team who can do that for you. So one thing that many people aren't aware of when I say commercial shipment is that these shipments need licensing. So if you're sending via sea, it's an automatic commercial shipment. A lot of our customers assume that if you're sending via sea, the only difference is it's cheaper and it takes longer. But they're not aware that you would also need an export license here in the Philippines, an import license in the destination country. So for us, for under Shipit, under One Export, which is our mother company, we have an export license here in the Philippines. We also have an import license in the United States. We can also assist with FDA registration, but for your items, if you need to send it to the US, it would need to have FDA here in the Philippines and FDA also in the United States. And if ever, there would be additional supporting documents, which I'll explain a bit more later. So those are the basics of shipping. So when you send to Amazon now, there's just a bit of there's a difference when you send to Amazon. So the first one is that Amazon shipments are considered commercial shipments. Because if you send to an Amazon warehouse and US Customs will analyze it, they'll say, okay, this is going to Amazon. This is obviously going to be sold. It's going to be a commercial shipment. So duties and taxes have a higher chance of being applied. The second thing that you have to consider is that food, cosmetics, drugs, and cleaning items, so what I mentioned earlier, would need an FDA here and an FDA in the US. So even if you will be sending a small box of items, there's a chance that US Customs will ask for documents. There's another item called the Material Safety Data Sheet. This is especially important if you want to send liquid items. This is to make sure that it's safe in sending via air and via sea. For non-food items, generally there are less limitations. I know in the US, in terms of toys, or if you have products which are touching the mouth, so example, if it's a tumbler or a toothbrush which you want to sell, because it's in contact with the mouth, you need an FDA. But generally, non-food items would have less limitations. Wooden products would need other documentations, which we will inform you if it's necessary. And because it's a formal entry or commercial entry, what I mentioned earlier, an important record would be needed. So Amazon, they're just a holding company, so they're just the warehousing. The final recipient, or let's say the owner of the goods, will be the one who purchases it. So Amazon cannot serve as the important record for your shipment. So those are some of the problems that some of our shippers encounter, and I'll discuss a bit later on how we can help you with that, which is now. So the first thing that we can do, we offer documentation and compliance assistance. We also have assistance in terms of using the important record and an FDA. And then in general, bulk shipping, which is basically sending through forwarding. So in terms of an FDA, for a US FDA in terms of food, as long as it has local compliances and the labels are up to date, it's quite fast for us. So it could take 3 days. Some of our clients, before working with us, it would take them around 2 or 3 months. But then because we have good contacts with the US, we can expedite the process. But this is assuming only if your local compliances are okay and if the labels are up to the standards of the US. So for non-food, it still has to undergo assessment because the US, they are quite strict in terms of, let's say, sending a cosmetic product because it might be considered a drug product. Example, you want to send whitening soap to the US. Because it's a whitening soap, US Customs may consider it a drug. But if it's just a regular soap, then it could be considered cosmetics. So we have to assess it first based on the ingredients, the intended use, and the label contents. But if you're still also not registered here in the Philippines, let's say you want to send food or cosmetic products, we also have local compliances, which we need to assess first before we give you timeline or let's say the price in terms of registration. So what I mentioned earlier, an important record is needed for shipments. What would happen now is ship it or one export, we have an import license. So we will be the important record. And what happens now is instead of where it's a regular express shipment where the recipient will be paying the duties and taxes, what happens now is we will pay the duties and taxes and then just extend that to you. So the cost is generally covered. So a lot of our shippers ship through us because we can handle that for them. Some of the items before would get held in customs because they're looking for an important record and they can't give it. So it's just held there for the long time and they have to send it back. So we want to avoid that. So we can offer our import license. We also have a US FDA. It's really just for food items. And we have to limit it to 1 product per shipment. So if you're going to send chips, cookies, or let's say chips and cookies, we'll have to separate that into 2 shipments. You have to send it, let's say only 1 product per shipment. And as what I mentioned before, we also check in terms of package quality. Again, we want to avoid damage and we want to avoid anything happening to your shipment. So we make sure to inform you before it's shipped out. So what happens now is, this is the basic flowchart of what will happen. It's sent to our office, we receive the items, it undergoes inspection. Once it's okay, it will be sealed and packed. Also just a reminder, if you guys want a copy of this, if you scan the QR code later, we'll be sending the copy of this presentation to those emails there. Okay, so it gets shipped out for around 3 to 4 days. Once it arrives in the US, if the US Customs will bill any duties and taxes, we bill that to you. And once that's paid for, we can arrange the delivery to the Amazon warehouse. So about shipments, what I mentioned earlier, we have fulfillment, we have forwarding. So fulfillment, you can be an FBA seller where it's dropped in a warehouse before we deliver it to an Amazon warehouse. You can also be an FBM or a fulfilled by merchant seller where you can use our warehouse to store your items and use our contacts to deliver the items to whichever customers you want to serve. And again, licenses, so export license here in the Philippines, import license in the US are under us. So for forwarding, we can send it directly to an Amazon warehouse, whether it be a full container or let's say 1 cubic meter if you cannot wait for the fulfillment service. We can send 1 cubic meter directly to any Amazon warehouse that you are assigned to. And again, we can be the important record, we can also be the ones who clear the items. Simple details that we would need, address, number of boxes, box dimensions, packing list, shipment value, and then of course the Amazon warehouse address. One thing that you want to consider in terms of shipment value, take note, this is for Express. The US, they have a de minimis. It's basically the maximum amount which you can send a product where it's not taxed. So the US has a de minimis of $800. So let's say if you're sending a personal item and you declare it as, let's say $500, it's less likely to be taxed. Of course, that depends on the product that you're sending. Some people, they want to send medicines, which has a tendency to be taxed, but we'll inform you right away. But yeah, so that's something to take note of. It's similar to here in the Philippines. I think if you want to buy an item from abroad and it's more than 10,000 pesos, you have to pay duties and taxes. It's similar to the US, except their value is $800. General items not allowed. Most of these aren't allowed because it just needs special documentation or it's illegal. And so thank you. So if you have any questions, feel free to approach us later or ask us during the Q&A. We'll just be stationed right there on the side. You can also scan our QR there on the side or scan it now if you have enough time. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next presenter will be from Return Helper. Yeah, so after the presentation from Return Helper, we're going to do a very quick 5 minutes guide on registration. Then we will do a Q&A.
When there's a problem, there might also be an opportunity. If we handle that opportunity well, we can transform it into something good. Hello, I'm Paul from Return Helper, and I'm honored to walk you through how to turn global returns from a painful process into something positive or even beneficial. The journey started with a young entrepreneur constantly getting frustrated dealing with global returns for his e-commerce empire. He couldn't find the ultimate solution on the market, a solution that is easy to use, cost-effective, smart, fully customizable, and most importantly, available in multiple countries. Here's the comprehensive list of what he encountered, and undoubtedly resonate with other global sellers as well. Therefore, in 2019, he decided to become the ultimate solution provider once and for all. From the physical warehouses to the professional IT team, we at Return Helper aim to provide the smoothest one-stop experience for fulfillment and reverse logistics. Furthermore, with the ongoing integration of AI technology, the whole process will become even smarter. Worldwide coverage is key to making the service more practical and useful. As you can see, here are our strategically flagged countries at the moment: Korea, Spain, Dubai, and the Netherlands are set to be available later this year. Before I delve into the details of what we do and how we achieve our goal, let's hear from our current customers and see what they have to say. Brian from Cubo AI said, "Now we are finally able to cut costs and improve return efficiency with Return Helper." Cubo AI created the world's first AI baby camera, which quickly became a beloved choice among parents worldwide. However, this widespread popularity also brought about an increase in in returns across over 10 countries. So dealing with these returns was not only time-consuming and costly, but it also left their customers dissatisfied. Fortunately, with everything changed for the better once we started working together. Now, Qble AI, they can effortlessly manage every return in every country through our portal, while saving tremendously on logistics by using Return Helper's pre-negotiated shipping rates. La Bonito is one of the leading brands in fast fashion industry out of Singapore. They also deal with returns in multiple countries. Their customers have the convenience of visiting their branded return website, which is powered by Return Helper for a seamless and hassle-free return experience. With our customizable services, La Bonito, they can manage returns differently in various countries, such as recalling, recycling, donating, and redistribution. Although by the name Return Helper, my Singlake, we solely excel in reverse logistics. We are now fully capable of handling fulfillment as well. This expansion allows us to offer a true one-stop experience covering the entire journey from manufacturer to customer and vice versa. Having competitive shipping rates is essential, so we partner up with the major carriers in different countries. This is to showcase our well-managed warehousing environment, and we're bringing in automated guided vehicles to make the whole process even faster. As you can see here, we pretty much cover all your needs regarding returns management, such as relabeling, repackaging, restocking, and even liquidation domestically. And our AI team based in Taiwan, they are really good at iterating quickly. So our clients will get a steady flow of improved functionalities on our portal. Currently, our portal already offers all the necessary functions one might require. Regarding local solution for Amazon, we take care of FBA and FBM process, and we ensure that we will meet all of Amazon's requirements. Although it might appear to be a simple process, there are actually many details to be experienced in and mindful of in order to optimize the entire Amazon experience. And this is precisely what we guarantee at Return Helper. You will have access to our warehouses to receive your FBM returns and FBA removals, and you can choose which service suits your needs best, like recalling, reshipping to FBA, or resending to another buyer. This is how we are able to deliver value to your e-commerce empire. In the beginning, I mentioned the founder of Return Helper was looking for a solution that would be easy to use, customizable, smart, cost-effective, with speedy customer service, and available in multiple countries. Now, all of this has been made available at Return Helper. And I would like to invite you to come and experience it for yourself. Thank you.
Okay, hello. Sorry for that. Okay, hello. So I'll promise I'll keep it short, 5 minutes, because I know you're all hungry, right? So we're gonna go and eat. Just a bit of a couple of tips on the whole registration guide, and if you have more questions, you can ask them in the Q&A, or you can come and visit us right behind over there. I'm gonna be waiting for you after the session for the registration booth, right where my colleague with the white blazer is. Right, so what is the registration process and why is it a bit complex in Amazon? So first of all, we keep the registration a bit complex to protect our customers and then to protect fellow buyers that might feel abused by other sellers in terms of counterfeit or problematic products, right? So we keep the registration process a bit complicated or a bit lengthy to prevent this from happening. So it all starts by registering your account. You're then going to go through SIV, what we call seller identity verification. This is going to be a call or with one of our associates who essentially is going to check that the person who registered the account is also the same person who submitted the documents during the registration process. You will then be triggered an OTP postcard. This is not for all sellers. This is an algorithm that strategically chooses some sellers that register. If you're triggered, you're essentially going to be sent to your registered address postcard, and in this postcard you're going to have an OTP. And once you receive that postcard, you're going to put the OTP in the website, and you're going to essentially be able to log on to Seller Central and start listing and shipping products. A couple of prerequisites that are needed in order to start registration are, first of all, an identity document, so preferably in PDF format. We accept 3 identity documents, which is passport, driver's license, and national ID. We do prefer driver's license and passport. Do take note that if you want to sign up with your passport, you are going to have to put a picture of your signature page also. That is also very important. Number 2, payment card. We do accept credit card and debit card. Of course, credit card is preferred. And the reason being is that usually with banks that issue credit cards, they're usually bigger banks that also accept United States dollars, because you are going to be charged in USD. We also do accept debit cards, and they're going to be accepted from now on. Now, please make sure that debit cards have acceptable international payments and overseas payments enabled, especially in USD. And third, last but not least, your bank account statement. And this is used to essentially verify the address that you have input in Seller Central or in the registration process matches with your name and an address verification document. I'll skim through the whole process. Again, if you have any questions, you can come back. But on top, you see essentially the 5 steps that we need to do in order to complete registration. First of all, business information, a myth, right? And I want to bust it right away. You do not need to have a company incorporated in order to start selling on Amazon. You can start selling on Amazon as an individual. And this is exactly where you're going to have to select if you have a company or if you're just an individual. Select a country. This is the country where you are located. It's not the country where you want to sell, right? So if you want to sell in the United States, do not put United States here, put Philippines, because you guys are located in the Philippines. And then according to that, you're going to be prompted if you're an individual or a business type, or an incorporated business. Seller information, very straightforward. First name, second name, last name, country of citizenship, very standard information that are usually collected in any standard forms of registration. And here you're also going to be asked to put your phone number for verification purposes. You're going to be receiving an SMS or a call with a one-time password, and then you're going to input that one-time password and going to be able to continue. This is what I was saying in terms of billing. Credit cards is what is stated over there, but you can also use international debit cards. Store name, this is the store name that is going to be displayed on your seller account. So put a name where you want your, essentially the buyers to view your store. And then we're going to ask in terms of your products if you have certain information regarding your products. If you have UPC codes, yes or no. If you are the manufacturer or brand owner, yes, no, or for some of them. And again, last but not least, this is the part where we're going to ask you to upload the documents that you have registered. For example, the first one is uploading a copy of your passport, and then the proof of address is what I was saying, the prerequisite to have a bank account statement. Very important, best practice. The document image must be in high quality, colored, and unobstructed. We've seen sometimes which sellers have tried to upload pictures and part of the document was obstructed by one of their thumbs as they were uploading the document. Please make sure that that doesn't happen because that might be rejected during your seller identity verification. You're then going to be triggered a screen like this, and this is essentially going to be where you're going to start engaging with an associate, right? This essentially means that when you click go on call, your webcam is going to be open, you're going to be on call with an Amazon associate, and this associate is essentially just going to ask you a couple of questions of who are you, what's your first name, what's your last name, can you show me your passport? You're going to just show your passport, and he's going to check that the passport you submitted is the person which is behind the camera and is speaking to the associate. This is the experience if, and I say if, you trigger the OTP, the postcard OTP. Essentially, you're going to see a screen where it's going to tell you we are preparing your postcard, it's being dispatched, it's in transit, and it's delivered. Once you receive that postcard, you're going to put the OTP in the field below, and then you're going to click submit, and you're going to be able to start selling on your account. And for me, honestly, this is the most important slide. Here you have 3 QR codes. First of all, let me start from the Facebook community. Facebook community, please join it. There are incredible questions and incredible help from other fellow sellers who have joined. You can also put your questions, and either fellow sellers or ourselves are going to answer your questions. Registration guide, this is also very important. This is a very thorough guide, PDF format, where we essentially demystify the whole registration process. Essentially what I went through in 5 minutes, but you have a lot more detail so you can take it step by step. And last but not least, a call to action. This is a registration link which is essentially going to bring you directly to the registration website to start registration. And the reason we've put this is because we're right now running a promotion. If you start registration on the spot today, we're going to be offering 3 months of free account management to the sellers. Very important. You're going to have account management for 3 months. So I'm going to leave this here, and you can scan these QR codes. If you have any other issue during the registration process that either the account managers or myself or the Facebook community cannot answer, you have an exclusive email address that I'm going to be answering personally. You can chime us in or email us in, and we're going to answer any of your questions. If you want to start registration, I'm going to be waiting for you at the booth behind there to help you and help you get those free 3 months of account management. So thank you very much. And now I think we can start the Q&A session. So if you have questions, please raise your hands. We're 4